Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Appendix A Adventures. Yes, the Dungeon Master's Guide is before you. Let me introduce my concept. I was thinking about running, just for my own entertainment, an offline attempt to play through some of Appendix A in the Dungeon Master's Guide without any restrictions, and just follow the dice using maybe a single character or at maximum 2 protagonists. It dawned on me that this might be a fantastic opportunity that I could share, and why not record the sessions and then put them up as YouTube videos on the channel. Yes, that's what I'm bringing to you now. The premise is basic dungeon delving using 2 of my old characters from back in the late 1970s. The first of these is Thingol Greycloak. He is a half-elf fighter, magic user, cleric, so a combination class, who has reached level 5. He is noble, serious, slightly vain. He sees himself as a scholar and a holy warrior. He often uses pompous turns of phrase. He is chaotic neutral, which is quite an alignment to have, but he is always trying to curb his impulsive nature. He is accompanied by his colleague, Greenface the Throatslitter. This is a gnome assassin of level 6, sardonic, greedy, irreverent, streetwise, and prone to side comments that puncture Thingol's self-importance. He is neutral evil. He has no real concerns except for himself. He shares a friendship with Thingol, although he wouldn't admit to it. Luckily, now this is to maybe curb you're running for the hills, chaotic neutral evil. My goodness, how can these coexist, and how can they be player characters? Luckily, both are not extreme versions of their alignment, and Thingol pivots more to good and Greenface to neutral when working as a dungeon delving team, and that's what they're going to be doing in these episodes. So I'm hoping that in this setup I want to have an interplay of these 2 characters and explore their dynamics, as well as explore these dungeons. And they are quite a lofty level, so I'm expecting them maybe to breeze through the first levels of the dungeon, find the stairs, get down to the second. Maybe things will start becoming a bit more difficult after that. However, having been a user of Appendix A in the past, and for my current YouTube campaign, for my main AD&D campaign, I do know that it is quite a deadly and rather unpredictable resource to use in random play, and you could end up down a chute or in some terrible trap, or fall in a pool of potentially acid or some terrible fate. So even level 5 or level 6, as the case for Greenface, might not be a protection for those type of events. But let us see how we get on. We're going to throw the dice. So again, it's going to be a bit like a classic duo, Elric and Moonglum, Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, but one of equals. So there's not going to be a master and servant relationship. They're very much going to be hitting off each other as equals. Maybe later, who knows if this is successful and people like it and I like it, maybe expand the format to some of the other characters I've introduced on the channel. And I thought, well, our firm favourite of that might be Klondike Bill and Derry the Dwarf, who are, Klondike Bill is a bit of a rogue and a rascal, chaotic evil fighter. I think of around about level 3, and Derry the Dwarf is his sidekick. He just stares. He's got a stare. And I thought they might be quite a good little twosome to send down a dungeon as well. The only other information you need to know just now is that I've actually set the campaign in the Duchy of Kanamikos, as detailed in the expert rules from 1981. And I'll just see if I can get a hold of my expert. Yes, here is my expert rules, and the Duchy of Karamikos is at the back, and it has a nice little map that we can use. And I thought, well, why don't I just use a ready-made setting that is familiar to everyone? And I thought it was here. Wandering Monsters, Wilderness. Here we go. Here we go. The sample wilderness keys and maps, and this was the one that was in the expert book, the Grand Duchy of Karamikos. So we are somewhere in this location. And the episodes, they're going to be short. They're going to be around about 30 minutes and dealing probably with a couple of rooms and encounters each session. And I'm going to utilize any of the additional dressing, atmosphere and thematic elements. I'm just going to be determining them by myself and when I deem it to be appropriate. So I think we are ready to kick off and do the official welcome to Appendix A Adventures. I've called it Appendix A Adventures because basically that's what this is going to be. We might progress to Appendix B Adventures if we start exploring through the wilderness, and we can do some random wilderness, basically getting lost every 5 minutes. But I'm going to stick to the dungeon format just now. Appendix A Adventures, a solo Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition campaign. In this series, we follow two unlikely companions, Thingol Greycloak, half-elf of noble bearing, and Greenface the Throatslitter, a gnome assassin with a talent for trouble. As they descend into the unknown, there is no script, there is no plan, only the dice decide their fate. Using the original 1979 Dungeon Master's Guide Appendix A, we'll generate a dungeon room by room and see where it takes us and whether our heroes survive. So it is a case of seeing how long they survive. And the first adventure that they're going to be going on is called A Descent Beneath the Ruins. This is, we start with them in the rain. It's falling on the edge of the Black Woods. In the valley below lies a forgotten ruin known simply as the Old Keep. Two figures approach, one tall, wrapped in a grey cloak, the other small, treading carefully and looking pensively about. Thingol says, "You understand, Greenface. This is a mission of exploration and mutual reward." Greenface, with a grin on his face, "Oh yes, exploration. And if we happen to find some unclaimed valuables, who are we to refuse fate's generosity?" They reach the crumbling stairs descending into darkness, and the dice are cast. So, drum roll, lightning, thunder, all that good stuff. We are on point for dungeon exploration. So Appendix A, if you do need any further reminder, is basically in these pages here. I'm going to be consulting this as if it was a Bible. This would be my tome, this would be my resource. I'm going to use rules as written. I have two quite reasonably powerful characters, so it's going to be quite entertaining. I haven't played with powerful characters for a long time, and just to show you what I have ready as part of this exercise, I have Thingol Greycloak. He is, as I've said, he is a fighter magic user cleric. Half-elf, he has a strength of 16, which is probably his highest characteristic, which gives him a bonus in damage. His intelligence, very good, of 15, and his wisdom of 14. So they are his highest requisites. And they give him an experience bonus of +10 for his fighter, but +0 for the other two. With magic user and cleric, he's not high enough for that. He is chaotic neutral. I've worked out that he's got about 25 hit points, which roughly is about 2/3 of what the maximum is for that level. Level 5 for each of the character classes, and taking an average. He has an armor class of 1 because he has picked up in his travels +1 plate mail, and this is very light too, so this helps with his encumbrance. His encumbrance overall with all these items that I've added in comes to 1040, and would you believe it, 1050 is the limit for the 9-inch move. Also, he's not classified as bulky because magic armor lowers one category of your encumbrance, which was very useful to find out. He also has a +1 broadsword. I have christened this one Grey Reaper. He has a silver dagger in case he comes across some form of lycanthrope. He is actually sporting a short bow as well, so he's got a bit of missile capacity. He has all the trappings of a cleric. He has his holy symbol, which is silver. He has his spell book to keep his spells in. He has the obligatory 10-foot pole, the backpack, the water skin, etc., etc. And also, because he is a level 5 cleric, he gets access to 3 level 1 clerical spells, 3 level 2 clerical spells, and 1 level 3. And I've jotted down the ones that he has memorized for this expedition. He's going to have Cure Light Wounds twice, Command, and for level 2, he's going to have Find Traps, Hold Person, and Speak with Animals. And for level 3, he's going to have Dispel Magic. So that's his clerical dimension. On the magic user side, he has level 1, he has 4 spells. Level 2, he has 2, and level 3, he has 1. And the ones that he has selected out of his spellbook for this expedition is Charm Person, Hold Portal, Sleep, Magic Missile, and for level 2, he has Invisibility and Knock. And level 3, Fireball. So this should be quite entertaining to see all these spells in action and how I can manage them and deal with them in actual gameplay. So that is Thingol Greycloak. I had him as a character for a long time. I think actually progressed to level 6 as a fighter, and level 5 as a magic user, and level 5 as a cleric. I think he, unfortunately, I think he expired in some difficult mission. But yeah, he was one of my favourite characters. He does have a name which is rather Tolkien-esque. That was a First Age Elf King, Thingol Greycloak, but I could not resist the name back in the day. And I suppose we didn't really have the imagination to think up ones that were original, so we were grabbing things out of Tolkien left, right and centre. So Thingol Greycloak was one. And then we have the old favourite, Greenface the Throatslitter, and he is an assassin level 6. He is a gnome, so that's quite an interesting little race to play. Quite mischievous, quite dark, quite suited maybe to this type of vacation. They're not quite the kind of gruff dwarf. They are a bit more, I think maybe not sneaky is a bad word, but they're just maybe a bit more devious, a bit more secretive in their operations. And also they have quite a dark humour as well. So I think he's going to be quite a droll companion for Thingol. He is male, his strength is 14, his intelligence is 13, his wisdom is 12. He has a very good dexterity of 16, which gives him a +1 surprise bonus. And he also has a -2 to his armor class and his reaction. He has a constitution of 14, his charisma is 10. Some of his special abilities at this stage are disguise, backstabbing. He also has the full range of thieves skills at level 4, so an assassin always has 2 levels below. He is sporting a short sword, a light crossbow with bolts, a dagger. I haven't quite had time just to work out all his equipment yet, but I will have that ready for the next adventure. I just wanted to get this to camera and start playing. And I am assuming that he will have a move of 9 inches when he is finished, because he's got quite a high strength and it's going to take a lot of stuff to weigh him down, particularly the fact that he's only carrying studded leather armor. So that is our 2 adventurers. I'm just going to put them to one side. What the introduction said was that we were descending a staircase. So I have my little grid that I'm going to use. In fact, I've got 2 little grids, so I'm going to put one over here I like to use my, oh, sorry about that. I like to use my backing sheet. I must have just knocked you with my hand. So the actual camera is quite close to the actual surface. So sometimes if I'm not careful, I have a tendency of just knocking the camera, which isn't good for viewers. So I do apologize for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to start by drawing our, we're going to draw our staircase down, and each of these squares is going to be the 10 feet. So I think we'll start with a 30-foot staircase, and I will start it here. And knowing my luck, this will probably end up going that way, but I'm basically going to assume that we're going to be exploring into this area here. So I will just create this with my ruler, and what I'll do is I'll just make sure that we've got some little stairs for our characters to move down. And for this, I'm going to use my grey pawn for Thingol and my green pawn for Greenface. Unfortunately, I don't have a small pawn as he's, to represent his gnomic size. However, my pawns are universal, and I have halflings that are this size too. So this is all about using your imagination. I did actually dig out some of my old figures that we'd used, but they are in a bit of a sorry state. So I think I'd rather get them all painted up first and actually repaired. In fact, Thingol's sword is broken, so I'm going to have to try to repair his sword. But I do have my original figures, so I might actually, get me stimulated this weekend. I might actually start to paint some figures, and I could do with having some figures probably in the actual the campaigns that I'm running just now anyhow, and maybe move on from the pawns. I do like the pawns because they're quite universal, and I find that I don't really need figures to maybe spark my imagination. I can use my pawns, but maybe just from a sort of visual aesthetic point of view on the channel, it might be quite nice to see figures being used. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use the suggestion, because usually in the Dungeon Master's Guide it says the start areas are these. So I think what I'm going to use is this start area of number 4 and just apply that. So that is basically 30 by 50 and it is facing the other way. So we're actually coming down into this. So this is going to be 50 feet down here, and put this bit across here. And it has a door here, 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 and it has a door here. And I did say at the start of this, the introduction, that I was going to use just my discretion about thematic stuff. So what I'm going to say is that this room is empty, but it might have some dressing. So let us see if we have 1d3 items of dressing in the room. So we've got 3 items of dressing. So the characters are moving down. They're going to go abreast at this stage, and the dressing tables are in one of the appendices further back. I haven't used this for a wee while because my AD&D campaign has not been using the dressing for a wee while, but we have this appendix called Appendix I, and dungeon dressing, miscellaneous items and points of semi-interest for corridors and unpopulated areas, or to round out otherwise drab places. Well, you've seen it first. That's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and spark up an otherwise drab place. So I think I'll have one that's general. So we'll get our percentage dice for that, and that's my 10-sided dice. So let's roll general and see what interesting items are in this. So we've got 33, and 33 is, oh right, okay, so there's dampness on the wall. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll call this our first room. We'll call this room 1. We've got dampness on the wall. So room 1. And I'll have a post-it note for each room. We've got dampness on the wall. So Greenface says, oh, these walls, they're all damp. It's giving me the shivers. Dampness on the wall. This is what happens when you're trying to have a conversation while writing. So there's dampness on wall. Are we going to have another one on the general? I would say we'll have one more on the general, and then I'll roll randomly on one of the other tables. So we've got 7. So a broken bottle. Thingol says, watch your foot. Watch your foot, Greenface. There's a broken bottle here. It's a big room, so you know it's probably just anywhere in this room. It's probably maybe not important. Maybe we could examine the bottle. Maybe that could be of interest. And I think the other tables I've got. How many have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right. So I'll roll the D8. And we'll just choose randomly from one of them. So we're going to have table number 5. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is miscellaneous utensils and personal items. Okay, let us roll the dice for that. So I'll just get my percentage dice out. 23. 23 is, oh, a comb. Right, now we're talking. We are finding some interesting things here. And on a 1, I say in a 1 to 3, we will have an atmospheric effect as well, just to give it a bit of character. So there's just the dampness on the wall. There's a broken bottle. There's a comb. And I will use an oracle, and I will say, is there any significance to this comb? So on a 5 or a 6, there is significance. Otherwise, there's nothing. So no, there's definitely nothing at all. And it's just a broken bottle too. So we are going to do our time thing. We're going to say, right, we're going to have to map this. And I would say we'll let Greenface do the mapping, and Thingol can just basically act as protector. He has a lantern. He has a hooded lantern. Also, his sword, Grey Reaper, gives off 20 foot of illumination as well. It's a broadsword. It's a magical sword. So when it's drawn, it gives off a kind of pale blue light. So we can use that to our advantage. But in the meantime, Greenface is going to do some mapping, and I've come to the kind of basically the house rule that every 4 squares I classify that as a turn of mapping. So this is going to be 3 by 5. So that's 3 5s are 15. So that's probably going to be almost 4 turns of mapping. So 1, 2, 3, 4. To map that. We will have a wandering monster check after 6 turns. So, and also remember, we're going to have to rest in 1 turn. So we're into our last turn after all this mapping, and we think, well, I wonder which door we should try. Are we going to go straight on, or are we going to try one of the ones on the side? So I would say that there's a better chance of the characters saying, right, let's proceed further into this old keep, this dungeon below the old keep. We should really, in priority, go through this door. However, these might be options as well. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's just put it down to chance at this stage, and we get a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is straight ahead. So it is a door which is going to require a bit of effort. So if we just have a quick look at our character sheets and see what our strengths are. Now, Thingol's got a strength of 16, and Greenface has got a strength of 14. So if we check the player's handbook for our strength and see what our ability is to open doors. Open doors. So 16 for Thingol is going to be a 1 to 3, so that's good. And on 14, was it a 14? Was it a 13? Let me just have a quick check. It was 14. So 14 is 1 to 2. Okay. So let's have Thingol as the red dice and Greenface as the black. So they're going to try to force this door open. So they both manage. So I would say that they do that quite effectively and probably with very little noise. And obviously, while they were mapping this, they were being quite quiet and they were trying to do this surreptitiously. They're not trying to clang around, and these are hardened professional adventurers. They would not do anything as silly as idle conversation. They are focused on the what needs to be done to get through this dungeon effectively. Their objective is really to try and find a staircase down and penetrate as far as they can into this place. Their overall reason for adventuring here is really one of exploration, but ideally they're after some form of treasure which is of great value, maybe some magical items that they can extract and take back to the Grand Duchy, and try to get a bit more experience, head towards the next level. And it's going to take a long time for the characters to progress because they are already quite well advanced. Okay, so we open the door. What is beyond the door? And that's what we're going to check now. So we're going to use the table, which is space beyond the door is, and we roll a d20. So I'll get my d20 and let us find out. So that is room 1 done. It had some dampness. I had a bottle lying around, a comb, which proved to be of no significance. So what is beyond this door? We get a 6, and a 6 is passage straight ahead. So we will do a 30-foot passage straight ahead, and this will require a periodic check at the end. So it is 30 foot into the distance, so we will progress abreast down that passage. Let us find out what is beyond. We're getting into the torches are getting close to this and starting to illuminate what is beyond this. We will do a periodic check. So I will get my d20 out and let us find out what is beyond. So we get an 8, and an 8 is side passage. Check again in 30 feet. So side passage, table 3. Side passages, okay. So let's find out what the side passage is. 14. And a 14 is passage-wise. Great, it's one of those. It's going to Y. So we're going to do 30 feet down this way, and I'll have to do it like this, wise, and we'll do it like this. I think it's going to be yeah. We do it like this. Yeah, that's going to work. And passage-wise like this. Now these aren't easy to draw because you've got to, it doesn't always work out exactly the way it should do. And I'm left with just a bit of a slide. So as we reach the 30-foot juncture, we see the passages go off on either side. So we're going to have to map this. So that's going to take about probably around about a turn, I think, to get down here. So I would say it's going to take a turn to map 90. So this is going to be about 3 rounds, say, before we do that. So 3 rounds down to that. So we've done, it was taking quite a long time to map that room because that was 4 turns and it was quite a large floor space. But this, we've only spent 3 rounds, about 3 minutes coming down here and be able to map this. It's really just a case of, you know, we don't really have any firm knowledge of where anything is. So are we going to take this side or are we going to take this side? So 1 to 3 is this way. It is. So we choose this way. We look down. Shall we check to see if there's any atmospherics in, you know, we'll say on a 5 or a 6, there is a bit of atmosphere going on. So there is. As we proceed down and get to here, we experience a bit of atmospherics. Let's find out what we're going to encounter. I quite like this where I can just do it as I feel, and if I feel that there's a need, you know, I might bring in a system which is a bit more based on actual, you know, actual mechanic. But are we going to have an air current, an odor, an unexplained plain sound, or air? So let's get the D4 for that. I like the unexplained sounds and weird noises. So we got a 2, so odors. So we get the old percentage dice out for that. Get my 84 on odors. 84 is, oh, a stale, fetid smell. So I can put in here, and this might be a bit of a marker when we come back. This corridor has got a stale, fetid smell. Yeah, it's not very nice. So our illustrious characters, they're being a bit bamboozled by what's going on. They're saying, well, this is taking quite a while to do this. All we've come across is a bit of damp on the wall, you know, a broken bottle, a comb, a corridor with stale, fetid smell. However, we are reaching the point where we're going to have to have a bit of a rest. But we're going to go down this corridor. So if that was a periodic check, I would say that we're going to have another periodic check at the end of that. So let's just do that and get our D20 out and see what happens as we progress down. And to map that, that's going to take about another 3 turns to do that. So 5 and 6. So we're up to 6 turns on that. Let's get my D20 out. That's a 7. So what does the 7 say on our master periodic check table? And a 7 is another side passage. Check again, 30 foot, this table. Okay, so what does the side passage have? Is it going to make me go even more different angles? It's starting to go a bit crazy now. So we'll roll this 10, and a 10 is a right curve 45 degrees ahead. So right is going to be on our left. So we're actually going to do, so I would say that this keeps on going another 30 feet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there is a bit of a right curve. And by a right curve, we could just mean it just goes, it actually rights itself. I think that's a better way of interpreting that. Yeah, I'll do that. And we've got these in sympathy going like that. Good. It's not very it's a bit of a mess, but I think that's more or less correct. So yeah, we're a bit bamboozled. You know, we've got these corridors. What is going on? That has taken another. That will to go down one of these will take another 3, and basically we'll have to probably rest at the end of that. So are we going to go down this one, or are we going to go down this one? So 1 to 3 is going to be the one that goes straight, and otherwise we're going to continue with this jaunty angle. So we are going to go down the one that's straight. So we're going to go down here, and that's going to take another 3. So we're basically almost, let's just say, with all the time that we've taken 5. We're going to have to rest now. So we rest, and now we're going to have to do a wandering monster check. Right. And I think for this dungeon, I think generally in this wandering monsters are usually a 1 in 10 that we have a wandering monster. And I'm just trying to completely remember, but we'll do a 1 in 10 chance that there is a wandering monster that's going to disturb our peace and quiet as we rest. There is none. So we spend another turn resting. That is up to 6. And I just see from our time that we are probably run out of time. This is sometimes what happens in these dungeon adventures. You just keep on mapping and mapping and mapping, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to run into anything, but I am sure that we will run into some opposition at some stage, and then we can dazzle everybody with the amazing combat skills of Thingol Greycloak and his comrade in arms, Greenface the Throatslitter, and we might even be able to see Greenface do his famous sneak attack, a bit of backstabbing, as all good assassins do. Okay, well, as I said, this was really just, for me, I was really just going to solo this myself, and I thought, well, why not? You know, I could be missing a trick, and I have the opportunity to solo it on the channel. And show off some of my old characters that we're doing. So I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm quite enjoying myself doing this, and I'm hoping that people that are watching this can just enjoy the fun with me. My whole style in this channel is not fast paced or whatever. You know, I just go kind of easy pace. But hopefully we will have junctures where it gets quite exciting. We have some quite extensive combats. We've got 2 quite capable characters that can take on quite a lot of opposition. So even if we have 14 kobolds jumping out at us, we have all sorts of things in our toolkit, in our armory to deal with them. And also we could really take on maybe some of the more powerful monsters as well. And I think that would be quite entertaining to see that in action. Okay, so we're going to leave this for the time being. The main purpose of this particular episode was to introduce the concept and get the characters known to you, and I can get to feel back in their shoes again, like I was back in 78, 79 when I was playing them. Yeah, I'm enjoying doing this. Hopefully you are too, watching me live out my youth on camera. Okay, well, I hope you will join me in the next expedition. These are very easy just to pick up immediately and just carry on. So we're talking about 0 prep for these, so I can rattle them out as and when. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.